I believe that this is the absolute keystone to your warfare. That's right, today we're going to be talking about improvised explosives and incendiaries. Hello, my name is Arthur. I am the founder and primary instructor for Tackleberry Solutions. We teach wartime tactics for citizens for civil defense purposes. And today I want to talk to you about improvised explosives and incendiaries. This is a manual that I wrote because I felt like a lot of the other manuals out there were a little too complicated, and a lot of things they left out was, where do you find these things and how do you go about procuring them and what are they usually used for? I wanted to be sure that when I wrote this manual that I kind of explained it to you in such a manner to do about doing this so that you wouldn't raise an eyebrow. For an example, hey, you're going to be able to find this gunpowder at a local gun store, and it's used for reloading ammunition. It doesn't raise the first eyebrow. I just bought 10 pounds of gunpowder. All right, well, let me explain to you another reason why this manual, out of everything I've written, this manual is probably the absolute keystone. Just like this post behind me here is the absolute keystone for this gate and this entire corral that I'm standing in. This manual is the keystone for absolute warfare. And I'm going to tell you a couple different reasons why, and then I'm going to tell you what they're doing to stop you from getting this. One, let's say you have a situation where you have an armored vehicle. Why do I pick an armored vehicle? I talked about it extensively throughout our manuals, because throughout the QRF, Quick Reaction Force manual, because that's the modern horse to ride into battle on. Well, how's an armored vehicle with a cruise served weapon and a gunner going to fare against 6 guys with AR-15s? It's going to do pretty damn good, right? I mean, it's going to be real dang difficult for you to stop that armored vehicle. Although I've talked about that in our Quick Reaction Force course in our infantry tactics, and I've told you how to do that when you just don't have anything else. But how much easier is it going to be for you to take that down? We just throw in 3 little guys, 3 little things, 3 little devices from this course, from this manual. Let's say fire bottle, a mortar round, and a grenade. 3 things that I teach you how to very easily procure and make inside this manual. All right, that totally changes the dynamics of the battle, right? Completely alters your tactics and the way you're going to attack this vehicle, because now I can lob a mortar on it from a safe distance from behind cover, and I can hit it and possibly stop it. If nothing else, I'm going to cause them to do something that they ordinarily wouldn't do. Now I'm going to have them engage me and my buddy, who's just sitting there laying down suppressive fire and drawing their attention to me, but I'm behind a covered, concealed position. Meanwhile, my other guys are hitting them from a flanking element, a flanking side, and they're hitting him with a fire bottle. Now I've totally disabled that vehicle, plus it's engulfed in flames. How easy do you think it's going to be for them to fight from a flaming vehicle? And it's just a matter of time. I can sit back at this point and just wait. When they come out of that thing, it's like fish in a barrel. Or I can let my next guy slide in place and lob a grenade right into the turret. Through the turret, down into the hole. Either one of those. That completely changes the dynamic of the battle. And it makes your life a hell of a lot easier. And it's going to make you being able to take out that vehicle a lot more possible. And we haven't even talked about anything serious like a shape charge, that again I specifically talk about how to make a manufacturer shape charge in that manual as well. So let's talk about why this manual is going to trump every other manual out there. For starters, I have my manuals verified, certified, and actually authenticated by a professional in that area. Unlike the Anarchist Cookbook where it's I heard this works, hey, you could try that. These are things that actually will, no kidding, work. And they will actually, and have actually been used and tested. I mean, literally, some of these things are things that I was taught when I went through improvised explosives and incendiaries in the military. So I know they work. I've used them. A lot of these devices, matter of fact, all of these devices I've actually had tested and have been tested on military training, during military training on a military range. Furthermore, this book was actually vetted by a military professional, a United States Marine who was a combat engineer and sapper. In essence, he is an explosives expert. This is his area of expertise. Now let's talk about the reviews this book has already had. The very first one I got was, holy cow, Batman, you're really not holding anything back. You're damn right I'm not holding anything back, because I know how vital this information is going to be to you. And I want you to be able to win that damn battle and freaking put foot to ass and come out as a conqueror. That's simple. Secondly, my second review was actually done by a law enforcement officer who looked at it and said, dude, you can't be teaching this mess. Well, why the hell not? Well, what if? But what if this falls into the wrong hands? That we wouldn't be able to handle this. That's the point. That's exactly the point. They, the powers that be, do not want you to have this kind of information, because they know that if you have this kind of information, if you hold this kind of power, that you could wipe their ass out. These guys don't really want you to have this kind of ability because it scares the hell out of them that you, the American populace, have that power, that ability. I, on the other hand, believe in you. I believe in the American people. We may not always get it right, but eventually we will, because we are decent, God-fearing Christians as a large that are just decent, honest people. And I trust you, and I believe in you, and that's the reason I've taught this, and it's the reason I put this in there. And quite honestly, if I didn't, you weren't going to get, you're like this post here. If I didn't have this post, would this corral even be standing? Would this gate even be here? Hell no, it wouldn't. That post has to be there. Well, so does improvised explosives incendiaries. It has to be there. And finally, the third review that I had was actually by the authenticator himself. When he looked at this, when Corporal Beatty looked at this, he said, "Damn, dude, you're really not holding anything back, are you? This is legit stuff." I was like, "Yep." "Is this legal?" Yes, Beatty, it's legal. Now let me tell you why. Little pesky thing that the liberals hate called the First Amendment, the freedom of speech and press. That's right. I have that. I have that right. Furthermore, let me explain to you now why you need to go ahead and jump on this before we get totally shut down somehow mysteriously. Because it's not going to be long before you just can't find this video. Guarantee it. We've already been drugged into court. Matter of fact, this year, in January of this year, we were drugged into court. While in court, they attacked us because of our manual that we had out that was previously known as Guns, Property, Liberty, now known as How to Repel a Militaristic Force. In that manual, we talk about how you would utilize improvised explosive devices to stop a mass invasion into your home. We talked about specifically taking on a SWAT team. The reason behind that was twofold. One, we'll never hear anything about tyrannical governments, right? That's not happening in America. No, not at all. And secondly, because if you can take on a SWAT team, when the real enemy comes, that band of banditos, that you're not going to have a court hearing afterwards to clear your name, that you're not going to have the ability to sue for peace and retribution. When those bunch of gangbangers come into your house and they're trying to get in, you're going to go through them like shit through a goose. You're going to wipe them right out. You'll have no problems. Why? Because you were trained to fight a real professional raiding force. As we always say here at Tackleberry Solutions, you're trained to the greatest threat, so when the real threat hits you, it's a piece of cake. And that's exactly what we want you to be able to do. But because we've already been drugged into court, because I've already had to defend ourselves and our ability to produce this information and give it to you, the mass populace, we've already been targeted. And it's just a matter of time before we get targeted again and again and again. Look at what's going on right now with Google and Facebook and YouTube. These guys are shutting down conservative talk and they're silencing conservative thought and talk. How much longer do you think before this video just mysteriously disappears off of YouTube? How much longer before that the only way you'll even know that this information is out there, that this manual even exists, is by word of mouth? We're getting to that point, guys. We're getting to that point, ladies and gentlemen, where they are trying to stop us. As I've said before, war is coming. It is definitely coming. The battle lines are been drawn, and the recruitment has already started. Look at Antifa. They've already thrown the first shots. Look at what just happened in Tacoma, Washington. That was Antifa. That was the other side's freaking direct action force. So it's time for you to get off your ass, quit being a cheapskate, and put your freaking money where your mouth is. You need to learn this stuff while you still can, because, guys, this is years of experience talking here. Years of experience in these manuals of how to set this up and how to do that. And that's exactly what Quick Reaction Force is all about, is how you go through setting this all up, structuring your guys, who's going to carry what weapon, why, how they're going to do this, and what their roles and responsibilities are. And this improvised explosives and incendiaries is the absolute keystone to this. As I've already pointed out, how they're going to freaking you know, how it will make a difference in a freaking firefight against an armored vehicle. Well, imagine how it's going to make the difference in a firefight against an absolute invading force.